Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. Today, we're playing with a Landcruiser.
Yeah, a little bit different, but it is a 2021 Toyota 200 Series Landcruiser.
Yeah, this car is literally only been with its new owner for a few days. It was manufactured in February of 2021, so that is 2 months ago. And I'm just pretty excited because these are like the daddy in Australia.
It is 100% the go-to four-wheel drive / SUV if you are serious about four-wheel driving or SUVing.
Yeah, something they do, and if you are new to this channel, we mainly focus on BMWs. We love the X5s, those sort of things. Something these do better is towing. And this one has the Lovell's towing upgrade.
Yeah, so why we're a little bit excited about doing this car, like when you said we normally play with the Beamers and that sort of stuff, a little bit cheaper vehicles. This is the very last 200 series, and the 200 series has been out for a bloody long time now, over a decade. Not much has changed, but this car has the 4.5 litre V8 turbo diesel.
That's paired to the 6-speed automatic transmission.
And why this one's exciting is because when the 300 series comes out very, very soon, I guess any day now, it's not going to have a V8.
And it does make you wonder, are they going to be as capable as towing if they don't have that big lump of an engine? Now, I know out of the box, these are around 200 kilowatts, is that right?
Yeah, and a whopping 650 newton meters of torque. The 200 kilowatts isn't huge, but that torque figure is impressive.
Yeah, actually in BMW diesel land, 200 kilowatts is meh. But for a big V8 like this, that's pretty damn good. And the torque is out of this world. And that is also standard. Everybody, well, not everyone, but a lot of people tune these. And we had a quick look at what the average diesel tuner is saying they can wind these up to, and they wind them up to about 255 kilowatts and 850 newton meters of torque.
Yeah, which you're getting pretty serious. If you are towing horses or cars or anything, that's a good number.
So we are going to go and do our typical draggy test on this thing and see how fast it accelerates in the real world. I don't think we're going to have any traction issues today.
Definitely not, but speaking of testing it on the road, I want to see how this car feels and performs and rides like with that massive GVM upgrade, which, by the way, this is the Lovell's 4-ton kit. So I think that is the biggest GVM upgrade you can get for these cars.
It's pretty mega. I have driven it around quickly. It doesn't feel too bad, although it's not quite the European luxury that we're accustomed to.
But
so I hope no one gets offended by our opinions on this. But look, I've got to be honest, and we've said it about a couple of the newer Toyotas we filmed, there's definitely less of a difference now between a Toyota and a Lexus than what there used to be sort of 15, 20 years ago. I mean, it's really quite a nicely finished interior.
Even this, when you mention the Lexus thing, that wood grain just reminds me of the Lexuses we used to play in a few years ago.
Yeah. It is, yeah, it's actually quite a nice car. The leather it feels much more hard wearing than what you get in a BMW, which is probably a good thing. And to be fair, these are much more of a utilitarian vehicle than a Beamer. You wouldn't want to take a modern X5 across the Simpson, for instance, where this, you'd feel quite comfortable doing it.
Straight away.
All right, shall we, actually, I do want to have a quick look under the bonnet.
Have a look at the beast of the V8.
Yeah, there was a couple of nice things I thought about this. I mean, and I guess it's because I do think of these as a tractor. Sorry, everyone. But there's a few things that's quite nice underneath.
I'm going to say it
like
is
the air intake for the intercooler, the way it's integrated through the grille, up through these scoops and up through there. Huge intercooler. Charge pipes and those sort of things don't look huge, but again,
it doesn't rev very high. It's not moving massive amounts of air, I guess.
Dude, it's pretty cool just to be playing with a brand new car, to be honest.
It's so nice, isn't it?
All right. Let's take it out for a drive. I've driven this. David actually hasn't driven it yet. I drove it at night time. I've got to say, one of the big things that stood out for me, as strange as it is how good the headlights were.
Really?
I was super impressed with how much vision you've got. They don't have the tricky sort of laser lights that the modern BMWs have got, but they were still pretty damn good.
Incredibly bright.
All right, I'll give you the key, which has still got its plastic wrapper on it. Ooh, let's go for your first drive.
Let's do it. I'm going to put the key in the center console. But then this brushed alloy, that's actually pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah, at first I thought I mean, it probably is a plastic, but it does feel quite nice. The gloss plastic, piano black finish around these areas all look quite good.
Normally in the Beamers, you'd be concerned how this stuff is going to wear in 10 years, but I reckon in the Toyota it's going to still be fine.
It doesn't have as many of the soft surfaces that the European stuff's got. Like, this is hard plastic, obviously that's hard. All the buttons are quite... Yeah. They don't have that soft coating on them that a lot of the Euro stuff's got. It's going to last well, you just know it is.
It's on.
It still sounds like an old Toyota. Not that that's a bad thing. One thing I noticed, and I'll see what your opinion is, again, very clear gauge cluster. And again,
It's a really nice cluster.
It looks like a Lexus cluster.
It does. I was just about to say, this does not feel, other than the sound, it doesn't feel like I've just started up a Toyota.
It's yeah, I quite like it. All right, we'll get out on the road, and yeah, you'll see us shortly once we got some heat into this thing. All right, guys, so we're just going over a stretch of road which is particularly bumpy and probably going to be the worst sort of condition you can put this suspension through.
It's a nasty road, and straight away, well, actually, the first thing you notice, that even climbing into it, the car is huge.
It's a massive car. I actually have to get up on my tippy toes to get into the seat. I'm nearly 6 foot. Anyone shorter than me would definitely need to use the step to get up onto the seats.
Yeah, I don't know how much the GVM kit raises it on the front and rear, but it is a monster of a car. Driving past the speed signs, then you're almost looking at the speed sign at eye level. You're that high.
No, that is true. But yeah, to be honest, we're over the worst stretch, and look, it's not too bad. It's definitely not as nice as Joel's Prado. We've been in a 2018 Prado. Over this road, it's actually not too bad. It's just as floaty as this, where this is a little bit harsh, but I can definitely live with this. It's not bad.
It's really not bad, especially as this is designed to carry more weight than the factory suspension.
Although I am struggling to hold the GoPro, which isn't normal.
I'm on the speed limit too. I'm doing 80.
Yeah. Road noise is almost non-existent.
And for such a big car, it handled those bumps better than I was expecting, actually.
Yeah, to be fair, thinking about it and not picking on the Toyota-ness too much, it's actually very quiet, very, it's comfortable. There's no vibration, there's no drivetrain vibration in the car at all. You're very insulated from all the mechanicals inside the vehicle, which is probably a good thing if you're doing long road trips and that sort of stuff with it.
Yeah, which obviously a lot of people are going to do with these vehicles. And speaking of the touch points, which we mentioned when we first got in the car, the leather on the steering wheel, at first I thought it was kind of hard, but once you're actually driving and you stop thinking about it, it actually feels really nice and supple.
We're impressed. The Beamer fanboys are impressed.
But look, then again, to compare it against the Beamer, you're spending the same sort of money.
It is, and that's why I wanted to be a little bit more picky or have higher expectations of this. And I have come into this with very high expectations because all of my true blue Aussie four-wheel drive mates think these are amazing and they all want one.
Yeah. One thing I'm a little bit surprised with, obviously we had a 60 series back in the day, and as Toyota have progressed through the generations of Landcruiser, all of the electronic aids that these 200 series have now, but then again, it's on the other side. The money that you're paying for these cars,
it should have it.
Yeah, it should.
It's got all your normal sort of stability controls, traction controls, all smart four-wheel drive systems and those sort of things. It does have lane departure warning. Well, something was beeping at me as I was drifting across the lanes the other night, and also it was picking up road signs for a school zone as well, which I thought was quite good. We got an audible warning that we were entering a school zone. Little gimmicky things that aren't the be-all end-all, but it's nice to see those sort of features on these more basic vehicles.
In fact, the only complaint I'd sort of have for the interior is really that bloody screen, because
that's old.
I swear that is the same screen that was in that first ever ISF we went in all those years ago.
Yeah,
these exact same font, colours. Which again, for 2021,
it's getting a bit slack.
Yeah.
All right, we've got about another 10 minutes to get where we can do this acceleration run, and let's go and do what we came here to do. Let's see if it accelerates as fast as a big, powerful V8 should.
I couldn't see any numbers for this car on the interwebs. What do you reckon it's going to do, 0 to 100?
Now, although it has got that big, powerful V8, it does also weigh quite a lot. In fact, I think this one comes in at over 3 tons.
Well, I think it is 2750 curb weight.
Curb weight, is that with... I suppose the upgraded suspension is probably not going to be much heavier.
Yeah, well, we'll touch on this a little bit after, because that's why the GVM upgrade is so important for these vehicles. And I reckon a lot of you guys are going to want the GVM upgrade once you start talking of the stock GVM is actually only 3350, but the car weighs 2750. So if you put our dad in it, when he was at his full size,
that's it. It's done.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I've only been able to carry 500 kilos.
When you consider what people will buy these cars for.
All right. We'll see you guys shortly. We'll do the acceleration test and we'll have a conclusion then as well.
It's
It
got some
doesn't feel
pickup.
bad. It masks its weight pretty well when it comes to accelerating.
Then you've got to turn. The brakes are good, actually. I'll give it that.
Okay, so we've got the car with ECT power selected. We're going to do the test in just the normal sports mode, but we're going to let it do the shifting. And we've got the draggy ready to go. You ready to go, Dave?
Yeah, I'm basically just going to stall it up quite a lot because I don't think we're going to have traction issues. Oh, wheelie. And then, so that torque is super strong down low, but then the power, once you get up to 60 k's an hour, it
Fades off.
yeah. But it's still pulling, actually.
And we're at 100. And 120.
20, nice.
So all in all, not too bad. 0 to 100 was 9.8 seconds, and 60 to 120, that was actually horrific, 10.5.
10.5,
But
okay.
any sort of big four-wheel drive like this, under 10 seconds to 100 k's an hour, you've got to give it credit.
Yeah, and emphasis on big for this vehicle. It is a monster.
So yeah, as I was sort of saying, as that other clip ended, I was pretty damn impressed with that. To get 0 to 100 k's an hour in under 10 seconds with something this big is huge. Now, something we didn't touch on in the first part of the video, the towing capacity of this vehicle is 4 tons as well. So, I mean, that is huge.
It's, yeah, if you are towing 4 ton with a 4 ton, if you got this thing fully laden, it's nearly a truck.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably one of the bigger advantage over all of the European options out there. It's hard to get a Euro four-wheel drive with anything over a 3-ton towing capacity, and when you're towing even a car on a trailer that weighs a ton, it's very easy to get up to that capacity. As we've got some
traffic
ahead on the quietest roads in the world.
What's he doing?
Oh my God!
Why is he not
Jesus
looking?
Christ! I should have filmed that, but I panicked because this car's worth more than I have. Anyway, so yeah, Dave, what are your thoughts?
A lot of positives, more positives than I was expecting, actually. I really like the car, and just as we're driving around sort of suburban streets, done a little bit of highway driving, the car's quite a nice car.
It's quiet. It's not that harsh, even with the suspension upgrade.
No.
I don't mind the engine. The way the engine pulls through its torque range, it's actually not too bad. In fact, there's not much between that and any of the European diesels. The only thing I can sort of pick on is probably the gearbox. The gearbox does not feel as good as even like a ZF 5-speed.
That's a bit weird, and I was going to mention the same thing because I was thinking maybe they have to keep this 6-speed gearbox for something, you know, if you are towing 8 ton. But then you think about some of the BMW and Mercs, like the X5Ms with the ZF8s nowadays.
I mean, they're having a lot of load put through the boxes.
Much more power.
But it is only the way the torque converter locks up that makes it feel a bit old school compared to the Euros.
Yeah, but still, there are still other benefits of just having more gears and better gear ratios. And don't forget, Toyota and Lexus have these gearboxes available.
Yeah, they do. They have the 8-speed in the ISFs, don't they?
And actually, yeah, so it's weird that they haven't bothered to put it with the Landcruiser, and even the 300 series, even though they're getting rid of the V8, I think they're going to still keep the 6-speed gearbox behind the new V6.
Oh, really?
Well, and with the hybrid options, go a CVT, which, no, thank you.
No, not a fan of CVTs. All right, so they're actually quite quick. Fuel economy is not too bad. You can see the one where we did the acceleration. Oh, I've touched the screen. You can see where we did the acceleration run on for that section, which is 1 minute. It averaged 40 litres per 100. But on average, we're sort of sticking around the 12 to 13 litres per 100. And I did reset that when we actually took the car over. So fuel economy, it sounds like a big number being in the low teens, but you've got to remember what this thing weighs and what it can carry. Dave, I think we'll head home and we'll give you guys our final thoughts on this very expensive vehicle.
Let's go.
It's dark. You can start to see the lit up sills, which I think is a cool little feature.
Cool.
You want to give it a quick rev?
Yeah, see what it sounds like?
Yeah. A little bit of spool.
It sounds like it's powerful. It's got some torque.
Cooler on the outside than it does on the inside. All right, let's give these lovely viewers a summary, Dave. LED puddle lights. Like it's got a lot of the features that used to be unique to European cars. They're catching up, and I've got to say, I do like it more than I thought I was going to like it.
100%. Even something we didn't touch on in the video then is the 360-degree camera.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a very cool feature for off-roading, just daily driving, parking, and especially with such a big car. So they're doing the right things.
All in all, in standard form, it's still pretty powerful. I know 0 to 100 is something that no one's really going to be doing in these, but mid-range torque, when you're already in gear and you're accelerating from, say, 50 or 60, it really does pull surprisingly well, considering what it weighs.
Yeah.
It's pretty quiet. Like, it's very quiet.
Yep.
I'd say it's as quiet as a current model X5. My only niggle with it is the torque converter. And something that, to try and explain that a bit more, the torque converter doesn't lock up like it does on the European cars. So when you're decelerating, going down a hill, this sort of just picks up speed, gets quicker and quicker. And you also have to give it a little bit more throttle to get the car to creep forwards.
Yeah, or even if you are on a flat ground or a hill, not on the brake, it won't actually, it's rolling. It's like you're in neutral. It's really strange, and you have to rev the engine.
It's just what you used to get with older cars. Maybe it's something they will change in the 300 series. I think it's going to be a bit of a shame to get rid of that V8 because they are insane when you tweak them a little bit.
Yes.
And I think that's something that you do need to keep in mind. And we do keep comparing them to the X5s, which are only 3-litre straight 6 diesels. This has more tuning potential if you want to go mad with it. Yeah, look, it's quite a nice car.
It's brilliant.
In fact, another big thing that we really should think about if you're looking at buying one of these, depreciation is almost non-existent in Australia compared to the European equivalents that you're going to lose 80% on over like a 5-year period. This will be a little bit more of a solid investment if you do need to sell it in the next couple of years.
More reliable. Spare parts when you do need them will be much easier to get and more affordable, or should be.
They're, just cheaper vehicles to own.
There's a lot of positives
to these.
Yeah.
Would you go one of these or an X5?
If I was spending $100,000,
yep,
get an X5.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I think they're better. Yep. And on that bombshell, we're going to end it off. Maddie, your car's actually pretty good. We're taking the mickey a little bit at the end there. Thank you very much for letting us borrow it. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in 12 months of wife and kids abuse.
Yeah, no, you've done well, Maddie. It's a brilliant car, and even just to, like, the size of it.
Yeah, what are you, 7 foot tall?
At least. But not, like, these are 18-inch wheels. They look like they're 16s, don't they? And the brakes fill the wheels. It is a serious bit of kit.
It hides its mass well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be a really good family car for him, and he can tow his 4-ton excavator around with it.
Yeah, and it probably won't be any slower. It will not slow it down at all.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. We will catch you on the next one. Bit of a weird one for us, but yeah, kind of impressed with it.
Yeah, before we sign off, if you have one of these cars, one of these V8s, and you have had an opportunity to tune it or do anything with it, let us know your power numbers and what your fuel economy is like and how it goes when you have actually tweaked it a little bit, done an exhaust, that sort of stuff. Peace.